Stagnation is the enemy of freshness. Whether it's political stagnation, spiritual stagnation, emotional stagnation, academic stagnation, financial stagnation, stagnation is not a friend. I've been privileged to speak to over 150,000 people each year across North America, Europe, and in Africa, reminding people that the potential within them is much more powerful than the problems that confront them. I'm Dr. Derrick, the voice against stagnation. Hello, and welcome to Dr. Derrick's show, The Voice Against Stagnation. I believe in movement. I believe that when you move, you stay fresh. Today, I have in the studio Jared Silverstein, and he is the founder of Kinetic 360. We want to talk about the benefit of physical wellness. So it's going to be interesting. Stay tuned. Jared, I appreciate the fact that you took time to be here. Thanks for being in the studio today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. I've heard so much about you, how you are transforming life, how you are changing people in and out. So that's the reason why I say it's important for us to talk about the power of physical wellness. Please just tell my audience more about you and who you are.
Well, I think to understand who I am, it's a little bit to understand how I approach personal training or changing people's lives. I kind of if you look at my title is, I'm a fitness studio owner of Kinetic 360. I'm a corporate fitness trainer, and I'm also a personal trainer. But I look at it a little bit differently. I look at it that there are two steps, basically. You have the physical coach and you have the mental coach. And I believe as a personal trainer that you have to handle both. A lot of times people come in, it's not just about being physically better. A lot of times there's stuff inside that you have to get to the root of as well. So I believe in mentally coaching them and physically coaching them.
So is that what makes you exceptionally different from others?
I think that it does set me up a little bit different. When people come in, I believe in personal training, but it's kind of lost its meaning. Personal training means personal to the person that's coming in. Everybody that comes in has different goals, different needs, different wants. I don't do what a lot of trainers out there do. They do basic cookie cutter programs. I look at each individual as an individual, and when they come in, I sit down, I identify with them, I figure out what's making them tick. Why are they struggling? Why are they coming to me? Why haven't they been successful before? I think sometimes it's important to learn a little bit about the background, understand who you're dealing with as a person, and then create the program for them.
Interesting. I like that. So what can I expect from a typical personal training like you?
Generally, like I said, so you come in, and we sit down and we basically have a fitness assessment. I sit down, I talk to you about your goals. And everything with me is in 3-month and 6-month increments, right? And I came from a teaching background, so I look at SMART goals. It has to be specific, measurable, attainable, and relative and timely to each individual. A lot of trainers just sit there and say, okay, you want to lose 20 pounds, this is what you need to do. It's not really like that, right? Because you're not involved in their life. You need to figure out, can they really get to the gym 3 times a week? Are they only going to come to you once? How's their nutrition? What are they going to do when they're not with you? Are they using you for accountability? There's so many different things that are involved with the physical fitness and the mental aspect of training. Sometimes you have to train the mind, take the can't out of their mind and only put in can. I can do this, but maybe I don't need to do it 5 times a week. Maybe it's about realistic expectations. So I sit down there and I figure out what's realistic for them, what's going to work for them, because they're the individual. And then what I'll do is I usually show them, around the studio, and then I discuss what's your limitations. Do you have any past injuries? Have you trained with a trainer before? If you have, why did you stop? Because if you can get to the root of why they stopped, you can come up with an excellent program for them to continue. And then we work on a little bit, just a little bit on each machine, limitations, core stabilization, flexibility, and a little bit of lean muscle mass exercise building, and also flexibility and stretching. That's all important. Then I sit them down and I say, well, what's feasible? What's acceptable to you? What's going to work to you? Because if it doesn't work for you, you're not going to come back. You're not going to stick with the program. And then we sit down and we say, okay, well now we need a 6-month goal. And 6-month goal's got to be a little bit different than your 3-month goal, because 3-month is what's in everybody's head. Nobody ever thinks about the long term. You know, what's going to happen 4 months from now? What's going to happen when life gets in the way? So that's what I do. I try to break down the mental barriers. I try to set up realistic expectations for them, which is really the keys to their success.
Wow, I love that. I love that. Wow. So how would you describe what you do actually for a living? How would you describe it?
I would say that I change people's lives for the better. When people meet me, whether they train with me, whether they come in and just meet me and have an orientation session, I want when they leave, I want it to have an impact on their life. You know, even if they're not going to train with me, when they leave, they're like, you know, when they go out to lunch, maybe they eat something healthier. Maybe they walk from the parking lot instead of parking close to the store. Maybe they do a routine at home that's just 5 minutes extra of exercise. Maybe they meditate. Whatever it is, it's changed their lives for the better. When somebody meets me, I want to have that positive impact.
So your ideal clients will be what?
Well, I train everybody. I mean, I can tell you I train 8-year-old kids that are just trying to get moving, you know, because the public schools have changed what exercise is in schools. So a lot of times, you know, I'll do like little younger kid classes, all the way up to somebody that's a little bit more in the quote unquote senior citizen. I don't like to use that term. More in the geriatric, preventing life skills and when things are working in their life. You know, arthritis, osteoporosis, all these different things that happen as life continues. But my ideal client's anybody that wants to change their life. Anybody that wants to make a difference, you know, because if you come in and you don't want to make a difference, it's an uphill battle. But if you come in and your mind is right, you're ready to come in and you're like, I'm ready to make a change. I found it within myself to make a change. You've already put that first step through the door.
So have you ever had a client that came discouraged, and at the end of the day, you were able to transform him or her? Can you share with my viewers?
Absolutely. I mean, I've had everybody that are just in a mental rut. You know, they're stuck, they can't lose weight, or they just got a really bad health diagnosis, and they're kind of at the down of their luck. They're at that bottom of the ladder, and it's my job to pick them up and move them up those steps of that ladder. And to set these goals that, oh my God, look how successful you can be. Look what you've already done. You know, stop, keep looking ahead. Turn around and look at how far you've come. Everybody's always focused at moving ahead, moving ahead. They never turn around to look at how far they've already come. That's what I try to do. And I've done that with people with weight loss journeys. I've had clients lose over 100 pounds. I've done that with people that are recovering from cancer. You know, that went from being able to, you know, I started training them before they were diagnosed. Then they were diagnosed and they had to start over. You know, I constantly tell clients all the time, it's about reinventing your fitness level every once in a while, right? Case in point with me, I was a huge martial artist, a huge power lifter. I worked out all the time. Then I had bilateral inguinal hernia surgery. Okay, I couldn't even get out of bed. Okay, so when I went back to the gym after I was, you know, I was stuck in bed for 17 days, I came out and I'm like, I'm not lifting 50-pound dumbbells right now. I'm lifting 5-pound dumbbells. But you know what? You set goals. You mark things down on your calendar. You look at your realistic journey and you say, you know what? I'm reinventing where I was. Everybody reinvents.
Correct.
Every 10 years, you probably reinvent. You're reinventing your job. You reinvent with your family. You reinvent with fitness and your mental outlook as well.
Wow. You blew my mind. I love that. I love that. So what do you think are the concerns for most people when it comes to investing in?
I will tell you the two concerns are no time and money. Those are the two things I hear on a regular basis. More no time. Everybody doesn't think they have time. Yet they have time to do all sorts of crazy things like scroll on Facebook or drive and go get a cup of coffee or just do tedious things, tedious tasks. You know, it starts with small steps. Start with 5 minutes a time, 10 minutes a time. All of a sudden you look in a year and you're doing a half hour of time. And so that's the big thing. Everybody doesn't think they have time. It's not that they don't have time. Everybody's got that same 24 hours in a day.
Correct.
It's how you use it that matters, right? Everybody's got time. It's about prioritizing. Prioritizing your health is what's important.
Prioritizing.
That's what it's about. And that's what I do. I basically, like I said, I'm a life coach. I prioritize what they're doing in their life to make time to make them healthy.
How do you make your clients comfortable? Because a lot of people don't want to go, into some, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So how do you make them comfortable? Why is that they keep coming back to you?
Well, I think the first thing that's very important with me is I wasn't born looking the way that I look. I was overweight. So when clients come in and they read on my website that I lost 76 pounds, and they read that, I'm asthmatic and I've done all these crazy things, they're like, well, wait a minute, it's more real than somebody that just genetically was born and looks the way that they look. So I think that they know that I've lived it. I live it every day. And I work hard every day to stay in the shape that I'm in. So I think it makes it more real, which I think is very important. And I'm very easygoing. I'm a straight shooter. I tell them, I don't promise them things that I can't do. I don't sit there and tell them that in 12 weeks, they're going to lose 45 pounds and this and that. I don't do that. We set weekly goals, weekly expectations that even them, when they come in, they can see that. It's not too far ahead. It's just small steps to get to that big mile. And I think it makes them feel comfortable. Wow. And I have a huge background. I have a Bachelor of Science in Kinesiology, Applied Fitness and Movement Science at Penn State, one of the top 10 universities. And I'm passionate. And people pick up on my passion. I live it. I love it. I love making a difference, changing people's lives. And people know it. And they can see it. You can't hide that. Can't hide passion.
Wow, I love that. When should someone start investing in this?
Well, I think everybody should invest right away in health. Because the only thing you lose in life is time, right? It's the only thing. You can get back anything, but you can't get back time. You can't get back the marks it puts on your body, right? You can't get back what happens in your life in the past. You can only move forward. So I think anybody, if they get that bug or they get that drive that they want to make themselves feel better mentally and physically, the time to start is now. But I think really big right now, and I'm big in, is youth. Youth is big because you create your habits when you're young. If you're sitting around on the couch watching TV and playing these video games, you're not out there. I remember when I was a kid, you were outside playing outside till 6 o'clock at night. Your mom and dad didn't know where you were. You're out playing in the park, you're in the woods, you're doing things. Everybody's now so sedentary, sitting on the couch, playing their video games on their phones.
And they're not moving.
They're not moving. So the key really is moving when you're young. And that also goes, you never know who's watching you. I have kids, they watch me all the time. I never sit still. I'm always on the go. I don't sit around. That's not what it's about. Your kids are watching you. So, youth is key. That being said, if you're somebody that's, in a sedentary job, you're not getting a lot of activity that maybe you were getting when you were in college. Your time to get started is now. Everybody's time is now. You can look and see everybody's different levels and what they're doing in life, and they can all benefit from health. Reason why corporate fitness is like California, and California is big, Apple, they are big with bringing fitness to their employees.
Correct.
They are big with sitting there and bringing it there because they know that their employees are just sitting there. And a productive staff is a healthy staff.
Wow.
And they know that. Urban Outfitters is another one in Philadelphia that I used to be their corporate fitness director because their employees, if you're healthy, you're more productive.
You nailed it. I love that. So this is so powerful. Now, I know you say you work with beginners. It doesn't matter. So let's say people who are in their, the older adults. Can you work with people who are in their 50s, in their 60s?
Absolutely, because at that time they're working to prevent injury. They're working because of what life's throwing at them. They need to work now, but the program changes, and that's where I set myself a little bit different than other trainers. It's a special population case. Somebody coming in that's 65 years old that has really, really bad balance, You're trying to hope that in the winter she doesn't fall in the snow, that you can strengthen her core so much that she has better balance, that you can work on building up their bone density so that they don't break their hips, so that these things don't happen. Life won't get in their way because you're building them up. So it's a whole different thing when you're training people that are over 60 years old, because that's when all those different injuries set in. Or genetics. That's when genetics and heredity and all that sets in. And now it's about preventing it, being preventative medicine instead of just improving strength.
What would you tell people who have tried all they could possibly, to lose weight and they seem to be going nowhere? You know what I'm talking about? And
absolutely.
What will you tell people like that?
Well, I think usually the key to that is something inside them. There's something inside them that is a mental block, an obstacle that they're not getting past. Because if you take away all your obstacles and your mental barriers, you can be successful in anything. But there's always something in the way, whether it's their time or whether they don't understand how to do it or they don't feel it's beneficial. There's some sort of negative there that's getting in their way. And if they can figure out a way to jump over that, then they're going to be amazed with what they can accomplish.
Wow, you got it right. Now, what do you see? What do you see this business, this profession heading towards in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years? Because a lot of people are coming up with different creative ideas and all. Where do you see this going?
I think a lot of it is going to go into more of downloading fitness apps and downloading workouts that you can do. Now, there's some of that now, but I think it's going to go into more of a virtual realm. It's going to be more virtual trainers, which is great, and it'll be cheaper, and it'll be good in that regard.
But what about effectiveness?
There's no accountability, right? These people are signing up for these products, okay, but nobody's making sure they're doing it. There's no accountability there, and there's no proper instruction. You sign on for any of those things, you read at the bottom, if you get injured, broken wrist, injured knee, anything, it's your own responsibility. That's because nobody's keeping an eye on you. Nobody's showing you proper technique. Nobody's showing any of that. So I think that that's where that stuff lacks. So I think there will always be, I think the big gyms will disappear, and I think it'll be more the boutique and more specific personal training studios than the big corporation gyms. But you're always going to have those downloads and those videos and stuff.
Is that why you went towards the Kinetic 360?
I went to Kinetics 360 because I wanted to create something that was designed for the clients. I've been in the business for over 20 years, and I listen to clients, and a lot of their needs weren't being met. So I designed a studio that was big enough to have all the equipment that I needed, but small enough where people don't feel intimidated or they feel that they're just a number. To me, everybody knows everybody's name. We're like a family, and that's how I treat it. And that's why I designed Kinetics 360, because we're results-driven and success-oriented.
Wow, I like that. I see the energy in you. I see the passion in you. I can feel it. What keeps you going? What keeps you happy? What keeps you motivated every day you wake up?
Every day that I get up is when my clients are successful. I really am. My wife says I work 24/7. I get texts from clients at 2 in the morning, on their nutrition. I get 6:30 in the morning, how successful they are. That drives me. Success of my clients drives me. I am one of those people that just feeds on the energy and success and passion that my clients are then picking up because I made a difference in their life. Whether it's that they can hang out with their kids getting on the floor, crawling around, whether it's that they feel better, whether they're recovering from an illness and they're getting their strength back, whatever it is, I am making a difference, and that's what drives me.
I love that. Now, I know you mentioned about the youth. I'm also very passionate about the youth. Now, I understand that one of the challenges the youth have is the technology. Like you said,
Absolutely.
People on their Facebook, people on different social media, spending time playing video games and all. So what advice would you have for people like this? And what are your plans to actually help the youth?
Well, what I try to tell people, and it starts with the clients that I have at my studio that have kids now, get your kid involved in a sport. Get your kid to have an outside hobby. Get them off the phones and get them off the TV. It's really about you setting the tone for your children and saying, enough. You like go outside, enjoy the environment, and get just stop focusing so much on all this graphic and all that stuff. And then it's about finding sometimes it's an individual sport like martial arts. Other times it's a team sport. They'll start then hanging out with those kids because they all have the same goals. They're all team oriented, and it breeds success and it makes them feel good, and then that'll just put them on the path.
Wow, you nailed it. What are the enemies of physical wellness? What are the enemies?
I think the enemies with people when they approach physical fitness and trying to be physically aware is, I do believe one thing is media. I believe that magazines, the magazine covers and you can look like this person and the reality shows Biggest Loser and all those different things, they're false representation of life. It's not real. It's not real. The pictures in the magazines, they're airbrushed. The Biggest Loser, there's 55 takes and there's a doctor right there because they have situations on a regular basis. But people watch this and they think it's real. And they think, I can be that person. I have people coming in all the time. Can I do what they did on The Biggest Loser? No, you can't do what they did. You're gonna tear your kneecap off. Like, you can't do these things. So I think that is a big enemy of fitness. And then the other is cheap. The big corporate gyms. $9 to join, do whatever you want. Those places, they don't care about you. They don't care about you. You're a number to them. They want to sell as many memberships and get as many people in there and hope you don't come because they know that you're not going to check that money's coming out of your account. So I would say that those are the two.
Wow. What about in terms of, I like that because a lot of people actually they are members of this gym, member of that gym, but they don't go.
That's right.
That is true.
That's right.
It's true. They don't go.
That's right.
So now, what about in terms of nutrition? I know, because when we're talking about physical wellness, physical fitness is here, life coach is this. What about like nutrition? A lot of people, they tend to, they have a coach, they have this one, but in terms of feeding, nutrition, can you talk about nutrition part of that? Or nutrition?
I think nutrition's important, right? Because you could listen to everything I tell you and do everything that I do in the gym with you and do everything physically. But if you don't change your eating outlook, you're not going to get all the results. You might only get 60% of what you're looking for. So I think nutrition's key. But I think the big thing with nutrition that people worry about is they think it's all or nothing. And it's not. Moderation is key. Everybody wants to go out and have a drink. Everyone wants to eat cake on a birthday. Everybody wants to do these things, right? It's moderation. If you're doing something if you're doing something, you're having cake, don't have a drink at the same time, Pick and choose and realize that your body's not going to be like, oh my God, you just had that cake, everything's lost. It's not. And it's about baby steps. Looking your routine, what you're doing on a regular basis, and make small changes that are feasible to help you. If you try to take too many big changes, you're going to fail. And once you fail, you're discouraged, and now you're right back where you started.
Wow, you got it right. You nailed it. Now, another question I have for you, which I think is important, is here you have a lot of people, they have a desire to look good, to do their best. But the challenges of life is quite enormous. It's real. Challenges of life is real. So a lot of people, they want to do this, they want to do that, but they can't escape being worrying. They can't escape being anxious. I mean, this is real. How would you help? What will you tell people like that? Because those things also impact on their physical wellness.
Absolutely.
So what will you tell people like that? Because there's nothing you can do about, there are many things you cannot change about life. It will happen. You know what I mean? But people in that situation, what would you say to them?
Well, I think people, and you're right, I mean, you stole my line. Life happens. You can't change life. And things are going to come out of left field you're not even going to see coming that you didn't even think about today. Okay? But if you let it get you down and you think about it that way, you're always going to be on the bottom, right? It's your outlook. It's your mental outlook, how you look at things. Everybody's got peaks and valleys, right? Everybody. But when you're down, it's your outlook and how you handle yourself when you're down there, Because, you know, you got people, you look at them, right? Somebody's, you know, maybe hitting a down part in their life, but you might not even know it because they don't mentally show it, because they have come to terms in their mind that they're going to look at it positive. There's always somebody who has it worse. There's always somebody that's looking at things worse than you. Keep trying to look at the positive. There's positive in everything. Even in the most negative situation, you can find that silver lining. And I really do believe that. And I believe that with my life that I live. I have different things that go on in my life that people would say would get them down. And I don't let it. You just can't. You can't let your life bring you down.
I love that. We are coming to the end of this show, and trust me, I know you are enjoying what Jared is saying. Jared, I want you to look straight to the camera and talk to my audience. I want to know a lot of people are going through a very difficult time in life. That's the truth. I wish we can be encouraging people like you do. You know what I mean? Be a coach to them, be a life coach, encouraging people. You know, because that's what life is essentially all about. I want you to really talk to my client, address the youth, especially those people that are on the techno, like you just said, and so that they can get up and start doing something about their physical wellness. So go ahead.
I think what's important and what people need to realize is it starts young. So as far as the youth go, it's really about ride a bike, get outside, throw the ball. Small changes will make big results in your life later. And with the parents and the audience that's watching at home, small changes. Moderation is key. Just change something small in your life. You will look back and be like, wow, what a change this made. I can't believe that all I did was change this little thing. And now look at how far I've come. That's really what it's about. Small changes equal huge, big results.
Do you have a website that people can reach you at?
Yeah, my website for Kinetics is www.kinetics360nj.com.
What about like an email? Any email?
And my email is jaredtrains and then the letter U at gmail.com.
Can you spell it out if you don't mind?
JAREDTRAINSU at gmail.com.
Wow, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
You nailed it. Viewers, we are coming to the end of this show. I'm sure you've enjoyed listening to Jared Silverstein, the founder, the CEO of Kinetic 360. You know, he has a lot of energy, but one thing that stood out from all that he has said is the power of connecting with people, trying to help them, trying to encourage them. That's what we're talking about, the power of movement. If you can move, you will stay fresh. Thanks for listening. Till next time, bye-bye.